Thank you, everybody, for coming. The Rotary Club of Wausau, our weekly meeting. Any announcements before we kick it off? I've got one, but I wonder if anybody else has anything on their list.
There's a tentative plan in place for us to do highway cleanup next Monday as our 5th Monday event. Andrew is checking with Red Granite Bar to make sure everything's still okay for us to park there and everything. And hopefully he'll be in on the meeting later. But that's the tentative plan, but an email will be going out right away, hopefully today, with all that information to get some signups for that. So we can actually see each other and do something worthwhile.
All right, that's good. Anything else in terms of announcements? Okay, I've got one that I've mentioned a couple of times. We had just a very first preliminary call for this event that Dave Anderson is trying to pull together, called Pints for Polio. The target date there is October, first weekend in October, second weekend in October, either Friday the 9th or Saturday the 10th. It would be at Bull Falls Brewery. Pretty simple concept: drink beer and raise money. So it's and the hope is that, we're going to have a call with some of the other Central Wisconsin chapters as well. Pat Pillard is pulling that together. So some of you have indicated an interest in helping to coordinate. I'll be in touch with you on that. And right now we're trying to make sure that the Zamzos at Bull Falls understand the concept. We'd be in their tent, which I think they're going to leave up for us after their Oktoberfest event. So that's the tentative plan. More information to come, but if you want to pencil that in on your calendars, that would be good. So questions about that? Okay. I think we move to happy dollars and sad dollars. I think Patrick Bradley is going to lead us through that process today. Patrick, yes. The floor is yours. Thank you.
Yes, sir, Mr. President. So nice to see some new faces. So do we have any happy dollars to kick off today's meeting?
I'm going to put in a happy and sad $5 for Jean Tehan with her retirement and for being the mentor she has been to me all these years and since I joined the club and everything. And I'm happy for you, but I'm very sad.
And Debbie, I'm going to see you and I'm going to raise you. Happy 10 for the joy that it's been. Okay? See you and raise you. 10. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Debbie and Jean. Any other happy dollars?
Patrick, I'll match Debbie's $5 for Jean, and then I'll also put in $5 for my daughter. Ashley is as of tomorrow going to be moved into Og Hall in Madison. So we're heading to Madtown tonight, and we got to do all these. We got to follow all these rules and regulations, but we're gonna drop her off in the dorm. So a new stage for us and for her. So,
well, Matt, when I was a freshman at Madison, I lived in Og Hall. And it was basically made out of cinder block, and it was so crappy they tore it down and built a new one.
Yeah, this was Ashley's first choice, so I don't know if I haven't been in it. I'll have to see if she, if I need to question her judgment or at all. But
send me a picture or two if you can.
I will.
I'll let you know how it compares.
Well, so, just a happy $1. Adding to my previous gift, that Bill was a house fellow in Celery Hall for a number of years. And that's when we met. So that's a happy $1 for sure.
All right.
And I think Ashley chose very well.
Any other happy dollars?
I'll put in a happy $5 I just moved. I just got back from Philadelphia. Moved my daughter to Philadelphia. She will is beginning, actually started last week, her graduate program at Wharton. So pretty
Wow.
excited about that, and she's excited about the next phase of her life. So she's all settled in and starting to work.
Awesome. Thank you. Any other happy dollars? Any sad dollars?
I have a happy 5. The other day, Mike Thompson and I did the first road trip collecting money from fundraisers held for the Honor Flight. 2 motorcycle rallies, one in Kempster and one in Rhinelander, raised $20,000, which will fund 40 veterans to fly on a future Honor Flight. And it was the first time all summer we got to go out to a fundraising activity. So that was very happy.
Jim, you must be getting to know the bars in north central Wisconsin quite well.
I know 95% of them,
All for a good cause.
and I only drink Coca-Cola.
Any other happy or sad dollars? Going once, going twice. Back over to you, Mr. President.
All right, thanks, Patrick. I think that brings us to introducing our speakers today. Kelly, I think these are your guests. You want to introduce them for us? Did we lose Kelly? We may have lost Kelly.
Kelly has been having internet trouble all morning, so.
Okay, I can, yeah, I can take a shot. We've got Brian Gumness and Kevin Noel, who I think are going to talk about a project that they are collectively working on. It's being led by the BA and Esther Greenheck Foundation in large part, I think. And we'll hear more about it from Kevin and Brian. Welcome, guys.
Thank you very much. A little clarification on that. The Community Partners Campus is not necessarily being led by the BA and Esther Greenheck Foundation, but it's being led primarily by Kevin and myself and another small group of individuals that have come together to create a nonprofit center to be opened here in the greater Wausau area, Marathon County. My role in it strictly started when Kevin invited me to tour a building across the street from the neighbor's place with the hope that perhaps the neighbor's place would be able to move into a new location that would allow them to do their work more efficiently in order to reach the rising demand that the community has put upon them, providing food and other services that the neighbor's place does. So as we're touring this building, I kept thinking that this is way too large for the neighbor's place, and Kevin and I were kind of catching eyes on that, and I started thinking about potentially having some other nonprofits kind of share the space with them, but we kept going back to, but does the neighbor's place really want to become a landlord and own this new building and then lease it out to others? And kind of evolved into, no, that's probably not a good idea for the neighbor's place or any other local nonprofit to do that. So push came to shove, and the concept of a shared space nonprofit center kind of started then, at least anew. The idea of a shared nonprofit center here in the greater Wausau area started back in the 80s with Bart Killenhauser. And then since my involvement with the foundation, Gene Tien and myself have had this conversation along with some other foundation leaders, but it never really got off the ground, really didn't go anywhere for any number of reasons. And I think part of it was nonprofits at that point weren't as open to collaborating and coming together, thinking that that they're all going to be competing for that almighty dollar. But I think over time, through the efforts of the Community Foundation and Jean and her leadership and the broader involvement of the foundations in the area, we started working with the nonprofits in trying to encourage them to be more collaborative and work together on things. And that's already taking place quite a bit, quite honestly. So this concept of a nonprofit center, a shared space, to bring them all under one roof is really where we went. And between Kevin's passion and my passion and the others that we've pulled into this group, we've really been able to take this further than I think others have. I believe we'd already be open if we had found a place to call home. And unfortunately, we've had some issues in the community trying to identify and find this place for any number of reasons. But our biggest hurdle is the demographic, in that we need to be near downtown on a bus line where most of the clients that our nonprofits serve already can congregate. Bus lines are a key factor there. Had we been able to locate out in the industrial park, for example, we'd be up and operational already. But we can't do that out there because no one would be, those that need the services won't be able to get there. So Community Partners Campus was formed, and it's a newly formed 501c3 with the sole purpose to develop and operate a shared space nonprofit center. We intend to lease that space and provide the services to other or tax exempt organizations at below market rates, lease rates. Part of that is really to make it easier for those nonprofits to focus on their missions, what it is they do. And instead of being landlords or owning a building or paying over market rates or at market rates for facilities that they currently are in. And many of them have outgrown. And not necessarily being able to afford moving into a space that's more designed and ready for them to use. But an example of the neighbor's place, and Donna, I don't want to speak out of turn here, but you're a prime example of one of those nonprofits that owns their building. And Donna will attest that they have spent considerable resources in maintaining that building and bringing it up to usability, in essence, that they're putting forth a lot of that time and effort and resources into that building just to do what they do. And they need to move on. They need to get into a building, into an environment that will suit their needs and be more efficient in what they do and how they do it. Community Partners' goal is to support the efforts of community and nonprofit partners by offering functional, collaborative, shared space facilities, housing organizations having a mission-driven purpose to serve disadvantaged individuals and families of Marathon County with basic needs in a single location. That really is the core essence of what it is we're trying to do. But we're going to emphasize through those nonprofits on food, clothing, shelter, medical, mental health, and social well-being. All of our partners will impact one of those basic need scenarios, of which we'll be able to better serve all of those clients as they come to one space. In order for the partners to focus in on what it is they do, by getting them under one roof that is designed and built out to meet their needs, our nonprofits partners will be able to better reach out and provide those services, and it will foster collaboration beyond what they already are doing. To me, that is one of the most important aspects of a nonprofit shared space. With that, Kevin would like to share a story and then some more insight on what it is that we're trying to accomplish.
So what we're really excited about is the win-win-win, right? The nonprofits in our area will have a space that's designed for them, that will work for them, that will allow them to do what they do better. And I just want to share with you some of the names that are included in the Partners Campus. North Central Healthcare has a program that they call CART, and it stands for Crisis Assessment Response Team. And they plan on being in our location. Wausau Area Mobile Meals, we also plan on having a large kitchen. Mobile Meals, I think, is already prepared at Aspirus, and that'll continue to happen. But the kitchen will allow for all of the nonprofit partners to not only have a central coffee pot to share ideas and help create goals, share volunteers, do their work better just by collaborating on a day-to-day basis. The Neighbor's Place, Catholic Charities, Blessings in a Backpack. They are currently packing 1,900 backpacks each week for kids to eat on the weekend. And if you've ever seen 35 volunteers falling over one another in the existing space that they have to prepare these meals, they really need a location. And so we're happy they're a part of it. North Central Community Action Program called CAP. The main thing that they will be able to offer is the housing voucher program. Many of the customers of Neighbor's Place and Catholic Charities are in need of these vouchers. And so, once they're at Neighbor's Place, they'll just be able to go to CAP. And a big one is the first free clinic in our community. First Presbyterian Free Clinic is, I believe, working alongside the Medical College of Wisconsin to provide curriculum for their students. And I think the only other one that may or may not be included or may want to participate is the Wausau Police Department. I think it's called Special, or maybe it's Victims Response Unit, where victims of crimes are able to be counseled. And many times these people don't want to go to the police department for that service. And so having kind of a neutral spot for them to go is going to be desirable. So anyway, Brian and I aren't doing this alone. Brian's gotten us a subscription to a group called the Non-Profit Centers Network, located in Denver. They're a think tank. They have assembled 300 or 400 or 500 nonprofit centers that everybody can bounce ideas off of each other. For instance, should we have a receptionist or should we not? Should we have a long corridor? Should we not? So they've seen a lot of the good and bad of nonprofit centers. So we have some guidance. The other thing is, right after we joined that, somebody actually wrote the book, and it's called The Shared Space, the New Nonprofit Workspace. And it's pretty thick. It's got a lot of information, but I want to share with you a story that the book starts with, and it'll give you a very good idea of who we're trying to serve, and it's the people, right? It's always the people. So imagine a young mother who works at a low-wage job. With her earnings, she still needs nonprofit services to support her children. a 5th grade daughter who's having academic trouble at school, and a preschool son with serious medical issues. Accessing these vital services, however, requires her to cobble together programs from various providers across the county in which she lives. So every month, she must travel many miles, weekly trips with her daughter to a nonprofit tutoring program, and frequent visits with her son to a nonprofit medical clinic. She also tries to attend weekly nonprofit job skills programs so she can get a better job. These trips are in addition to her commute to her full-time job across town and visits to the food bank. Well, what if we could erase that barrier? Instead of this mother driving or taking the bus to multiple places, often missing appointments or being late to work, we bundle many of these services she needs in one place. What if medical, social, and educational professionals could collaborate as a unit to help with this family? So that's what Community Partners Campus, that's our mission. We're not necessarily a nonprofit mission other than to own a building to provide the environment for collaboration and working together in order to do more. This young mother may come to the campus for one particular need, but find out that there are several other needs that are able to be met. And that's what we hope to do. So when we started 18 or 19 months ago, we've been at this for a while, and we still don't have anything to show for it, but hopefully we will. We came across a nonprofit center in Sarasota, Florida called the Glasser-Schonbaum Center. And they produced a short video, and we've been using it because it gives everybody the flavor of what we're trying to accomplish. And I think Brian may have that queued up, and if we could just take a few minutes, I think that this will definitely give you the feel for what we're trying to accomplish here.
Bear with us. Like I said, I was having issues earlier here. We're going to have to do it the hard way here, so hopefully you can still hear me. I've actually visited this location when I was down in Florida. Yeah, I think in March or February I went to it and toured it. This video does a really nice job kind of explaining what it is and what they do. So hopefully it'll start here in a minute. And
Yep, we can see it, Brian. So
you can see it? Okay.
Yeah.
Because I can see me, so I wasn't sure.
This center is a 5-acre campus of 14 buildings, and we house 18 nonprofits, all involved in human services.
Well, Glasser-Schonbaum serves many people in need. Whatever their problem is, we hope there's an agency of Glasser-Schonbaum in one place where they can come and get the help that they need.
I feel the benefit of being on the Glasser-Schonbaum campus is the relationships we have with the other agencies. For instance, the Children's Health Clinic. We send our kids down there to get their pediatric care. More to Life, which works with human trafficking. We have a lot of referrals back and forth for those moms and those women in that program. We've sent clients to Gulf Coast Legal, Coastal Behavioral Health, First Step. We literally partner, I think, with most every agency on campus. And that's one of the benefits of being a part of this campus family, is that we're able to refer clients back and forth. So usually human beings in need don't have just one issue of need, and being here at this location allows people with multiple needs to have multiple services and at the same time. Really helps better their lives in one fell swoop rather than trying to piecemeal services together over a long amount of time. By improving the quality of lives of those in need, we save tax dollars in other large systems such as the legal system, the medical system, and the education system. So this type of model with this type of service provision in one location just makes a lot of sense. Dr. Schaubaum really was ahead of its time. Currently, how Health and Human Services and federal governments are working is they want to see collectives. They want to see agencies and NGOs working together because it limits the competition and makes it about being victim-centered or client-centered or patient-centered. We wouldn't be able to do what we do without them being so close for all of the victims and their families that we serve.
Having a location here at the Glasser Schoenbaum Center has been key for us because of the proximity to the other nonprofits and other agencies that are here on campus. We're able to literally walk 100 feet or 200 feet down the road to talk with someone or to refer somebody when they need additional assistance.
They're serving a segment of people who can't go any other place for help.
We are very blessed to be at the Glasser Schoenbaum campus, because we are connected with so many organizations that are serving the community, but also there is a sense of partnership, an ability to network, and also an affordable income, especially for a small non-for-profit organization as we need us now.
We all try to keep each other up to date on what services we provide so that we can ensure that people are accessing the maximum number of benefits available.
Well, it benefits in multiple ways. First of all, Glasser Schoenbaum Human Services is a full service organization, so there's one-stop shopping for our clients, and that's a huge benefit. We're on a bus line, that's another benefit, and very close to the Department of Children and Families. So I think those are three big win-wins for our patients.
As far as amenities, the reduced rent, I think that's the number one thing. And I think all of the agents will say that, but they've had a lot of, phenomenal donors that have believed in Glasser Schoenbaum through the years.
Whenever you give money, you get a wonderful feeling. It's something you don't get from anything else, that you've helped people who can't help themselves.
So there's a great quote that I like that well-behaved women rarely make history. And if there are two women that really deserve a lot of acknowledgement for the ruckus they've kicked up over the years, it's Kay Glasser and Betty Schoenbaum. And while Betty's husband, Alex, gave the founding seed money for this organization to Dr. Glasser, Betty did a phenomenal job and does a phenomenal job carrying on his legacy of support and obviously her vision of the mission. Betty is always very gracious to acknowledge Kay's determination and her spirit and her vibe and spunk to see this place come to fruition. And I really do think every time Betty talks about the campus, you can just see her appreciation not only for her husband, but for the work that Kay laid out here.
So that's Glasser Schoenbaum, and as Brian said, he did tour the facility and was impressed by their the services that they offer, and we want to mirror that here. And we've
really overwhelmed by the combination of work, of social life.
So anyway, we're very encouraged. We've done a lot of these little dog and pony shows where Brian and I go in and kind of tag team the County Board of Supervisors, the Wausau City Council, and I have to say we're enthusiastic and we're excited about the support that Marathon County and the City of Wausau are giving us. We're also looking for possibly additional support from the state of Wisconsin and possibly even the United States. So we'll see how far we get, but we're still, as Brian said, we're still looking for a home. We've narrowed it down to, well, there's still our old possibility of the Daily Herald, although we'd rather not return there, but we have two bigger and better possibilities that we're working on right now. And we hope that in the next 30 days, one of those will emerge as our primary site. Brian?
Well, yeah, thank you, Kevin. I think I'm I think I'm back. I tell you, I was having these issues here, trying to get all these things to play out right, so bear with me. So my giggling, Debbie, was all about that. I think, Kevin, I think we can share one of the sites that we're trying to find a home is, and he alluded to the county, is the current social services building that's located on East Thomas Street, just off of Grand and just on the east side of the bridge. We learned of that site. They came to us with it, as a matter of fact, or mentioned it to us. But unfortunately, their plans of moving aren't for another 2 or 3 years. Their current plans were set for that. And understanding that the urgency of our nonprofits right now is broad-based. It's either their facilities aren't adequate, or we're all facing an increase of potential human service needs due to the pandemic. We're anticipating a further surge of unemployment, which result in homelessness. People are in need of resources as far as food and clothing right now, and our community is stepping up and has done a wonderful job in trying to meet that need. But we're only going to be able to do that so long. And like I said, most of the facilities are becoming less and less adequate in order to meet these growing needs. So the point of all of that is that we can't wait 2 or 3 years for that building to open up. So we've gone to the county board asking to see if we could kind of hurry them up and see if they'd be willing to look at options that would allow us to be up and operational by October of 2021. So about 1 year and a month from now is our hope. And they're open to the idea, but there's a lot of hurdles that the county has to go through in order to meet that. The building isn't perfect, albeit it's near perfect. The big issue there is that we would have to build a warehouse, a facility of which Neighbors Place would be able to open up and operate a food bank to help better serve all of the county with food needs besides just the immediate greater Wausau area. So growth from their current food pantry and system that they have now, this new space that we'd have to add on to the social service building would allow them to be able to better serve their clients or clientele. Catholic Charities and the Free Clinic, who has been operating with Catholic Charities at the Warming Center, is anticipating this year already, and they'll limp through this winter, but they're already looking for a different location to have the Warming Center this winter. And the community is out trying to find them a temporary home, at least for one more winter, in order to better serve. They need more space per person of square footage to accommodate better social distancing. They're also anticipating a growing need of people becoming homeless, so they'll have to be able to house during those cold winter nights more than 25 people, which has been a pretty constant over the last couple of winters per night. And the Free Clinic also, and the medical people involved with the Free Clinic are anticipating that there's a real chance, a reality that a lot of our homeless population could be exposed to COVID-19. Not all of them will be required to go into a hospital, but they will be probably required to be isolated. And so part of this space that they're looking for right now needs to be able to accommodate the growing healthcare concern too for that population. So there is an urgency, and that is why, we're in front of the county right now trying to get them to see if they can help us meet that urgency. So like Kevin said, we're hoping at least within the next 30 days or 60 days at the most, we'd have an answer from them on if that facility would work for us. If it ends up not being or being available for us and they can't find a way to be out within 2 or 3 years, then, we're going to have to look at other resources and other ideas. And we already have a short list for that. Unfortunately, that I don't feel like I can share right now, but we will be looking at that as we go here. We're not going to wait for 60 days or 30 days. We're already starting to look and inquire about these other locations. I don't know how much time you want to give us yet. I think we've covered a lot of things already. I do have one more PowerPoint of which we could play through, but I think verbally we've already shared most everything that's on that PowerPoint. So I think to that, perhaps, I think Kevin and I would like to open this up to some Q&A. Hopefully we have the A's if you have the Q's. So feel free.
Sounds good, Brian. Thanks. Questions for Kevin or Brian?
This is Kelly. I don't have any questions. I just want to apologize to both Kevin and Brian for not being able to properly introduce them. Just as that time was coming up, my internet went out, and so trying to get hooked up to the hotspot took more time, and I'm glad you just went ahead and made the presentation. But I do want to apologize. So thanks.
No worries, Kelly. It was fine. Thank you.
Hey, guys, I do have a question. Is the Salvation Army considered to be part of this plan?
Go ahead, Kevin.
So we formed a steering committee, and we had about 18 members from city, county, law enforcement, medical, just about every walk of life and nonprofit on that committee. And Salvation Army was part of that steering committee, and definitely is interested in becoming a partner. But there are some theological challenges that appear to be in the way. I'm not sure that they still are. We're continuing to communicate with Salvation Army. We really feel that they would be a huge value to have as part of the Community Partners Campus, and we certainly hope that there's a way to. We certainly hope that they ask us to be included. Can't make them, but yeah, possibly. I mean, right now it's 50-50, but there's certainly a very good chance that Salvation Army would be included in some manner, if not.
Thank you.
Kevin, Brian, could you, Brian, you touched on this a little bit, I think, in your discussion about the county building, but could you just touch on the sort of the wish list for site selection and what, it's obviously a certain minimum amount of square footage. Are there other factors, loading docks, those kinds of things that are important? I heard bus line, I heard downtown. What are the criteria that you're really focused on, in terms of important attributes for these potential sites?
Yeah, we have done a thorough study with our assessment needs, at least to get a basic concept and idea of what it is that we need. One of our close partners in this has been Dave Bliven, who is an ex-retired Aspirus pretty management guru. And he went through with all of the nonprofits to determine the actual square footage that we need based on the current needs of these nonprofits and planning for future growth. And our basic amount of square footage that we need is 30,000. And that includes a roughly 10,000 square foot warehouse, pantry area for the neighbor's place. So the additional 10,000 onto the social service building would give us actually about 40,000 square feet, which is actually, you know, a better scenario, in essence, allows us to add additional partners and grow into that space. But the bare minimum right now, Matt, is 30,000, of which 10 is warehouse with loading docks, et cetera. The other thing I mentioned were the demographics, and you repeated all of those as far as near downtown, bus line, so on and so forth. So those are really the steering factors in this building that we, you know, would hope to have.
Other questions?
Could I jump in just for a moment? I am an absolutely huge supporter of this concept. It's not new, but it will be new to our community. Having toured the Goodwill Industries campus, set up very much like this in the Neenah Menasha area, they had complementary nonprofit available for one-stop shopping, like job services, a clinic, a child care center, just numerous things that were all complementary. So I think it would be an absolutely wonderful thing, and I want to thank Brian and Kevin for their work. I also want to recognize the BA and Esther Greeneck Foundation board, the foundation, for providing some startup and seed money for getting this going so that you have something to work with. Also, just a quick comment that Sue Nelson, our program manager, hosted a town meeting within the past couple of weeks. And one of the things that came out of it from the nonprofit community is that they are interested in sharing services. Like an entity needs an accountant, but they can't hire a full-time accountant. But if those services can be shared in this fashion on a campus like this, it would be really ideal. So I do want to thank Kevin and Brian for the hard work that you're doing to move the chain forward. Thank you.
Thank you. And, you know, they also need financial, Pat, and legal, Matt.
Kevin and Brian, Jim Campbell, I'm just wondering if new construction was not talked about because of maybe the cost or unavailability of appropriate sites meeting your requirements?
Yeah, we started down that road. We actually spent a lot of time and effort to develop a proposal for the city of Wausau for the Cleveland Avenue property, formerly the Wausau Industrial Incubator. And there we had designed, there you can kind of see it, we had designed a brand new building to work in collaboration with St. Vincent de Paul, who's also, who's located there right now. In order for us to build that building, it was $6.5 million. And we were willing to do that. But all of a sudden the city decided that, well, we need to do a little more environmental testing. And so Brian and I have determined that that is a 2-year process and we can't wait. We need to get this thing open. And so we've moved on from that, unless some miracle happens that their phase 2 testing comes back that gives us a green light to build a facility that we can overnight people, not just an 8-hour day. There's going to be people living there. You know, if something like that gave us the green light, we'd certainly return to that possibility. It would be a brand new facility. We would be able to build it exactly how the individual nonprofits need their space designed, and that would be very, very nice. One thing to keep in mind about the social services building is that it was originally a clinic. And there's, you know, it's set up with meeting rooms, kitchen, exam rooms, which now serve as offices. But, and a lot of the walls that are there are just simple partition walls. So it makes remodeling very simple. It's got plenty of electrical services and plenty of plumbing services. So yeah, we considered new, and we're still willing to do it, but frankly, we can't find another 6 or 7 acre vacant site in central Wausau that will support it. So that's what we were looking for. I mean, that would have been great because we actually had that phase 1 to get the nonprofit center open. We had a phase 2 that could possibly provide transitional housing. It could be operated as a collaboration between city and county. And then we had a phase 3 that could have been affordable childcare. It could have been a tiny home village. It could have been any one of a number of things to help serve our community. But kind of a dead end on that right now.
Other questions? John Townsend, do you have something?
Yeah,
Yes.
Brian and Kevin, thank you for coming to this meeting and sharing all this with us. I've read and followed it with interest in the media and have been curious as to how it's going. And thank you for your leadership. Like Jean said, I think it's extraordinary to have that kind of support from you and this board. I think you mentioned that you work with. Somewhat around the answers you provided, can you reflect on the source of funding or the financing of the facility and the ongoing management, how that would be done, and what kind of support is there in the community to help meet the financial needs for both building, buying, renovating, and then ongoing support? Do you have an idea you can share with us on how that'll all work?
Sure. The basic concept is this. CPC, Community Partners Campus, would be the owner of the building. Monies would be raised from the community, privately held monies, foundation, corporate, individuals, things to that nature, to raise the funds to either build a new building or remodel and build out an existing building. Once it is done, CPC is a nonprofit. We would own and operate that building without having to make any money on it. And because of that, then we would then offer below market rate rent to the nonprofits that are in it. That rent would cover the operational cost of the building, plus put away seed money for future repair and maintenance of that building, knowing that in 5-10 years, something's going to have to be fixed or replaced. But we don't have to pay Kevin and I as building owners any money, because that's not the intent of what CPC will be doing. So we will basically own and operate a building, be identified in the community as a place for people of need to go to seek all the services, and it will be self-contained that way. Future fundraising of CPC, there probably won't be any. The nonprofits will continue to operate independently of each other in that regard. As far as them going out in the community looking for assistance that they've always looked for, they'll continue to do that. But CPC, once the building's built, it'll be paid for, and we'll just collect rent to cover operations and future maintenance on it.
John, as we go out and seek funds for this facility, we feel that we have a lot to sell. We feel that we can offer a return on investment to the city of Wausau, to Marathon County, to Aspirus, to Marshfield Clinic. We're going to reduce emergency room calls. We're going to reduce police attention to issues that arise. We're hopefully going to help the people that that all of the nonprofits are there to help, and we hope we're going to help them better. We hope to reduce, or the big trophy would be end homelessness. So the return on investment for a $6 million facility is going to be fast, we feel. And, you know, we just think that when we're looking for corporate or we're looking for contributions from our medical community, that they'll see the advantages to CPC and want to become an investor. So we're hopeful. We haven't started yet, though, but we do have a checking account in the event that anybody wants to give any.
Thanks, Kevin. Can I pick up on the comment you made, Kevin, about the phases? It sounds like you're planning phases 1, 2, and 3, but you spoke of them in the past tense. Are they still future tense phases? And does that govern the amount of acreage and square footage that you're looking to be in underneath this umbrella within, say, 5 to 10 years?
Yeah. So we do have those phases still included, even though the social services site is under 2.5 acres. We may have to go across the street. We may have to go a block away. But yeah, they're still included. They're just not next door. So yes.
Yeah, and those additional phases, John, are really dependent on the community. The community is going to tell us if other services are needed that we aren't housing it, that, you know, at the original aspect or startup of Community Partners Campus. We'd love to, as mentioned earlier, see Salvation Army be part of this somehow. Unfortunately, the social service building won't allow that, but perhaps somewhere nearby they may be able to also create a new facility and really become part of the mix that way as well. Any other questions?
Okay, we've got a couple minutes left if anybody's got a last question. Otherwise, we should thank Brian and Kevin. Any last questions? Go ahead.
Yeah, I have one comment. I would extend an invitation to Brian and Kevin. I think you would both make excellent Rotarians. And as you can see, we have excellent speakers, our experience today. So the invitation is open to both of you. We would love to have you join. Okay?
Thank you very much.
Yep.
Very good, Gene. I second that motion. Any last comments? All right. John Overland, I think, is going to lead us out with the four-way test. Thank you. Before we do that, Kevin, Brian, thank you for all of your efforts thus far. I know you guys have worked hard on this. We appreciate you, what you're doing for the community, and we appreciate you coming here today and speaking to us about the project. Thanks again.
Thank you very much for the invitation. It was a pleasure.
All right.
Yes, thank you. We were honored.
All right. John Overland, can you lead us out?
Sure. Of the things we think, say, or do, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendship? Will be beneficial to all concerned.
All right. Thank you, John. We stand adjourned. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next time. Take care.
Bye-bye.